The strangest thing about real love is how it makes you feel more vulnerable than any fake relationship ever could. You've probably noticed this yourself. When someone genuinely matters to you, every text takes longer to send. Every silence feels loaded with meaning. Every small gesture carries weight that could crush you or lift you to heights you didn't know existed. Why does authentic love hurt more than the shallow connections that came before it? The answer lies in what psychologists call emotional investment theory. When you truly care about someone, you're not just sharing your time or attention. You're handing over pieces of your identity, your future dreams, and your deepest fears. The stakes become real because the person becomes real to you in ways that matter. Think about your last meaningful relationship versus those casual connections you had before. In the casual ones, rejection stung for maybe a day or two. You shrugged it off, told your friends they weren't worth your time anyway, and moved on. But when someone you genuinely love pulls away, it feels like they're taking parts of you with them. This isn't weakness. This is the human condition operating exactly as designed. Dr. John Gottman's research on relationship psychology shows that people in committed relationships actually experience higher levels of both positive and negative emotions compared to single individuals or those in casual relationships. The emotional range expands in both directions. You feel higher highs, but you also risk lower lows. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between real physical danger and emotional threat. When someone you love seems distant, your brain activates the same alarm systems it would use if you were being chased by a predator. Your heart races. Your stomach drops. Sleep becomes impossible. The cruel irony is that the deeper your capacity for love, the greater your capacity for pain. People who love deeply don't get to choose emotional safety. They've signed up for the full human experience, which includes moments of breathtaking joy and periods of crushing uncertainty. But here's what most people miss about this paradox. The pain isn't a bug in the system. The pain is proof the system is working. Viktor Frankl wrote about this in Man's Search for Meaning. He observed that suffering becomes meaningful when it's connected to something larger than ourselves. The anxiety you feel when someone you love is upset with you isn't just random emotional noise. Your brain is telling you that this relationship matters enough to fight for. The fear of losing someone real comes from recognizing their irreplaceable value in your life. You can't feel that same fear about someone who doesn't really matter to you. The intensity of your worry is directly proportional to the depth of your attachment. Consider how this shows up in your daily life. You probably check your phone more often when you're waiting to hear from someone important. You read more meaning into their tone of voice. You notice when their texting pattern changes. Your friends might call this overthinking, but what's really happening is that your emotional radar has become more sensitive because it's tracking something precious. The psychologist Alfred Adler believed that all human behavior is goal-directed, even our emotional responses. Your heightened sensitivity in real love serves a purpose. You're unconsciously working to protect and nurture something valuable. This explains why people often sabotage good relationships. When the stakes feel too high, some part of your brain starts looking for the exit. If you end things first, you can't be abandoned. If you never fully commit, you can't be fully rejected. The logic seems sound until you realize you're trading the possibility of deep connection for the guarantee of shallow safety. The people who find lasting love aren't the ones who feel less fear. They're the ones who feel the fear and stay anyway. They've learned to interpret emotional intensity as information rather than instruction. When you feel that familiar anxiety rising because someone important hasn't responded to your message, you can recognize it as your brain's way of saying, "This person matters to me." When you feel vulnerable after sharing something personal, you can see it as evidence that you're being brave enough to be known. Real love hurts more because real love costs more. You're investing your authentic self rather than a carefully curated version designed to impress. You're sharing your actual thoughts instead of the ones you think they want to hear. You're letting someone see you without all your defenses up. The question isn't how to love without feeling vulnerable. The question is whether you're willing to pay the emotional price that real connection demands. Some people decide it's not worth it. They choose relationships where they can stay emotionally protected, where they never have to risk being truly seen or deeply known. That's a valid choice, but it's also a limited one. The people who choose real love despite its costs report higher life satisfaction, stronger sense of meaning, and deeper emotional fulfillment. They've learned that vulnerability isn't the opposite of strength. Vulnerability is strength with the courage to show itself. Real love hurts more because real love matters more. The pain is the price of admission to the most meaningful experience humans can have. The question is whether you're willing to pay it.